virtuales para la tercera Convención Internacional de Historiadores y Numismáticos, Cartagena 2021. Evento que venimos desarrollando desde el 1 al 5 de diciembre en la bella ciudad de Cartagena. Cabe destacar que este evento aglutina a los más importantes historiadores y numismáticos de más de 21 países, siendo este uno de los foros más importantes de esta región. En esta oportunidad tenemos como invitado a los Estados Unidos de América. Estará representado por el señor Steven Ellsworth, que nos va a dictar la conferencia Un mundo de numismática en la Asociación Numismática Americana. Contamos además con la presencia de Carlos Tedesco, vicepresidente de Cartagena 2021, representando a los Estados Unidos de América. Y también al señor Ricardo de León Tallabas, que en esta oportunidad va a ser mi coanfitrión y nos va a ayudar con el tema del idioma. Ricardo cabe destacar que es vicepresidente de Cartagena 2021, representando a México. Damos así entonces pase a Ricardo, por favor, adelante.
Muchísimas gracias, ¿qué tal? Well, this is my privilege and my honor to introduce the immediate past president of the United States, the American Numismatic Association, Colonel Stephen Ellsworth. Colonel Stephen Ellsworth opened his first retail store while in high school at the age of 15, taking time to win the state wrestling championship without an opponent scoring a point. He expanded his stores to 3 locations by his 19th birthday. Selling part of his business, he enlisted as a private in the Army's Green Berets and the Rangers, and worked his way through the ranks and retired at the rank of colonel. His many assignments ranged from commander in the Army's Green Berets to deputy for legislation for the Secretary of the Army, an overseas Joint Service Command, and a special assistant to the Chief of Staff of the International Business, of the Army. He earned a Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Science, Master Business Administration, and he's a graduated in International Business degree and another 3 other graduate diplomas. His articles on security have been published extensively for over 25 years in publications throughout the United States and Canada. These articles have been recognized with numerous literacy awards from many organizations. He has been a primary consultant for early copper valuations to the guidebook of the United States coins for over 20 years and was recognized as one of the most influential people in numismatics since 1960 by Coin World magazine in 2021. His numismatic service and awards are numerous throughout the hobby nationwide and abroad, culminating as the 61st president of the worldwide 130-year-old American Numismatic Association with over 25,000 members worldwide. Again, it is my honor and my privilege to have Colonel Steve Ellsworth with all of you today to speak about the American Numismatic Association. Colonel Ellsworth.
Thank you, Carlos, for that, or Ricardo, excuse me, for that wonderful introduction. And it was very kind of you to say those nice things. The American Numismatic Association is a nonprofit educational organization that's dedicated to helping people discover and explore the world of money through its vast array of programs. We do this through an array of programs of publications and educational programs, conventions and seminars and library and a money museum, which I will briefly touch on each of those. The ANA was formed in 1891 in Chicago, was by an act of Congress, federal charter under the President Taft. And in June 8, 1967, we located our national headquarters, our world headquarters, to Colorado Springs, Colorado, where it remains today. Our premier publication, which is, I call it the crown jewel of our association, is our Numismatist. It's been continuously published monthly since our foundation. And it's been, like I said, it's been published for over 130 years. And it's the leading voices of our industry and numismatics throughout and all aspects of it, whether it be coins, numismatic ex numia, or it could be notes of world and ancient coins. We also digitize every issue all the way back for this full 130 years. So you can research, it's available to researchers simply by going online and researching out each issue. Our educational programs, our premier, I should say, educational program is our summer seminar, where we have approximately 350 students come into Colorado Springs, and we offer 40 different classes on numismatics for students and educators and researchers alike. So it is really immersing yourself in total numismatics for a week. And we run normally a 2-week program, and Ricardo, you have been an instructor there as well as myself. I've been there for about 15 years teaching courses, and I believe you've been there at least that long. But the bonds that you make at these summer seminars are just wonderful, and they are lasting forever. We also offer technical seminars and programs at our conventions, which I'll get into in just a moment. But we attract and recruit the best instructors in their various fields for our seminars. And the classes are quite small. And so there's a lot of one-on-one opportunity for students to gain all the information that our instructors have. But we teach everything from how to grade coins to how to detect counterfeits, photography, research, and so much more. I mentioned the summer seminar. We offer programs for teachers. One of the ones very popular we call Coins in the Classroom. We have modules on how you can introduce numismatics in just about any area of coin collecting that there is, tying it into a educational format, whether it be history, which obviously ties in beautifully, mathematics, of course, with coins and the word numi, and then we also, it ties in beautifully with art classes and political history, and as well as economics and business. We have YN programs that we orient towards young people. And when we say YNs, we're talking people under 17 and under. And we have free coins, we have scholarship opportunities, we have games and trivia and videos, and some very specialized programs oriented to young people. We hold 2 national conventions. We have what we call our National Money Show, normally held in the March-April time frame, and then our largest show is the World's Fair of Money, which is the largest coin show in the world. But we have educational programs throughout the entire convention, which normally lasts. Our National Money shows are usually 3 to 4 days long, and our World's Fair of Money is usually 5 days. But we have auctions and we have educational programs. We have exhibits of rare and numismatic items, and we also have competition among exhibitors for various subjects. We have a lot of family-friendly opportunities. Plus, we have a lot of social events and so forth that, you know, is really the camaraderie of our hobby. We have a library that has over 128,000 books in it, and auction catalogs and periodicals and DVDs. And we also have member borrowing privileges. You can borrow any of our books, and also the only cost to you as being a member of the ANA is that we ask you to pay the shipping back and forth, but the book itself, there's no charge for that. And it's very, very popular. Dwight Manley was kind enough to donate the foundations of that, and it's a very generous contribution. But we but normally we have about 3 full-time librarians to assist our members, but at this time we do not. Well, I think we only have 1 because of the pandemic. We have a money museum that is offered online. We have it's the largest money museum in the world. We have over $75 million worth of coins and collectibles and currency in our collections. Obviously, we can't display it all, but we have 3 galleries of coins, and you can go online and you can do a virtual tour of this museum. The museum is located in Colorado Springs, and we have some very, very rare holdings there in our collections. Okay, I am open to any questions you may have, and I believe that there were some questions that were submitted to you, Ricardo, that you might want to discuss.
Yes, the first one that I would like to ask you is how many active clubs are there in the United States and the world that are affiliated to the American Numismatic Association? Because I know that the presence of the world is important for the American Numismatic Association, as American numismatics have changed a lot with electronics, as you know. So what would you answer to that question?
I would say that we have about 375 active clubs throughout the world. The clubs in the United States and in Latin America are pretty active. And a club can be a small club in a small town that normally they meet once a month, might have eight members. And the larger clubs might have 150 members. And they usually meet once a month. And the format usually is they have a guest lecture, and upcoming events. They have a mini auction, and then they usually have a few refreshments and so forth. But it's a place where people can go and share their knowledge of numismatics with each other and ask questions. And believe me, in most clubs, everything will be answered. In Europe, it's a little different because the environment of Europe doesn't promote a whole lot of local clubs as it does in the United States and in Central and South America. And in Canada also, we have a lot of clubs there too. But about 375 active. We're down a little bit because of the pandemic, but I think we'll come back now that people are again meeting in person.
Perfect. I believe that Ms. Carol Tedesco had a question as well.
Yes, actually, before I ask my question, I'd like to make a comment. And that is, I am so impressed with the educational components for young people, which I wasn't aware of, the Adopt a School program and the youth outreach, because numismatics, as you know, sparks curiosity in all kinds of topics, history in particular. So in addition to that, the library, I did not understand or realize how extensive it was and how easy it was to borrow from it. So I'm very impressed by all of that. One of my questions would be, what would you consider to be the biggest challenges today facing the ANA and the hobby in general?
That's a pretty tough question, but I would say a major challenge is our demographics, in that we tend to attract a lot of older people. When I say older, I'm saying over 60 years old. And I don't know as many young people are coming in as the older people are leaving the system. Our membership is pretty much maintained between anywhere from 23,000 to 28,000. And I think that's probably a base that we can probably depend on worldwide. We, of course, have a number of programs. We're trying to get more members because we want to share this wonderful hobby we have with everybody. But like I said, we do pretty well in Central and South America as well as the United States.
So the youth outreach that you've been doing, how long has that been taking place?
Well, we have a program. Now, if I understand the question right, is how is our outreach programs going?
Your youth outreach, how long have you been involved in the youth outreach components of the American Numismatic Association?
Well, I have been involved with it since I started collecting when I was about 6 years old. And so, you know, I was like all other little kids. I had a little blue book and I'd put the coins in there. And of course, I was so young, I had a hard time keeping them in there. So I used my airplane glue and glued them all in there. So they would be permanently stationed there forever. I tried tape, but that didn't, Scotch tape didn't hold them in very good. And, you know, I didn't know anything about it. But anyway, I became fascinated with it and I loved doing it. And in those days, we could get a lot of coins out of circulation. Nowadays, the modern series are fun to collect, but they're not quite the same as they were when we had a lot of silver coins in circulation. But there's a couple of programs too that we're doing very well with. We have a Coins for Aid programs where kids can sign up, and if they get A's, then we send them coins, and that's kind of a neat deal. And like I said, the coins in the classroom has been quite successful with teachers. We have the complete module for them. All they do, and it's free. You just have to ask for it and let us know what the subject is they want to teach, and we can introduce coins in the classroom.
That's fantastic.
Going over a little bit with that, and I can tell you this because that's how I got into the American Numismatic Association. I was one of the teachers that happened to be in that place, and I started learning about these different kind of size of money and you know, stone money and iron money and African money and Asian money and Indonesian money. And it is very interesting because the American Numismatic Association has a bridge for each and every one of us. The only thing that we need to do is to look for it because the bridge has already been built. And if it is not, it's just a matter of suggesting it. And the good thing about the American Numismatic Association is that it's not a wall. It is a bridge, it is a door. And at some point, it's even a window for something that you didn't even know that existed before, like in my case. And speaking of this topic in particular, Colonel Ellsworth, I would like to ask you something that, in my opinion, is very interesting to me. I'm a Latino guy, and I would like to know how Latin America can be more involved with the ANA to make sure that the presence is there and that we can help the American Numismatic Association to help us at some point to become more cohesive and not as distant as sometimes we perceive each other to be. What are your thoughts? What is how can countries in Latin America engage better with the ANA?
Well, that's a great question. And I think the simplest vehicle would be to use our outreach program using our district representatives. Ricardo, I know you do work in Mexico as well as the United States, but we have several of our representatives in Brazil, and there's other countries in Central and South America that have our representatives. I would like to see at least one representative from the ANA in each of those areas, and they could act as our ambassadors. We give them all the materials they want, so if they have a presentation or a meeting, or if they're going to talk about numismatics, we can give them the subjects, whatever they want. My hope that one of the things I would like to see is enough Spanish-speaking numismatists that we could justify having our magazine in Spanish. I think that would be wonderful. I dreamed of that, and I hope someday we're able to do that. I just, you know, I push for that, and there's pushback. Sometimes they say, well, that costs too much money, and I don't see why. You know, I'm a member of the Canadian Association, and their magazine comes in French and English. And I see no reason why, you know, that we should ignore 60% of the world's population that speaks Spanish.
Maybe we can start with something electronic, and then we can start, you know, branching out. But we can start with something that is a little easier to do, in my opinion, than going straight for the paper. Because right now, the world is packed with choices, and one of them can be the opportunity of doing it electronically to see how it goes. And you sign me up for something like that. We can start working together towards that very good idea.
Well, I hope that I'm able to meet some people and possibly have some people to be interested in becoming an ambassador for their country, or at least their region. I think we have 3 ambassadors in Brazil, which is not enough. It's such a large country. And I'm sure Mexico, we could have, equally, probably a dozen that would still not cover the whole country. But wherever there's numismatists that would meet, I would like to have an ANA representative attend those meetings and be part of that community and supply the meeting with the information from the ANA and as far as the opportunities that we offer.
Very good. Thank you so much for that question. Carol, do you happen to have another question?
Actually, I do. What endowments does the ANA have?
Well, our largest benefactor, it's really not an endowment. We have a benefactor that years ago, the family donated some stock in their company, and the company did extremely well, and it's given the ANA an opportunity to finance many of the programs that would not be possible. Our membership fees are very, very low. I believe our membership for the magazine and all the other services we offer is $46. And I think that the cost of the magazine alone by mailing everything is greater than that. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits, but through this gift that was given to the ANA, it's allowed us to have all these other operations. We run about a $5.5 million annual budget. And as you know, that's expensive. We have 40 full-time, well, not quite 40. We have about 32 full-time employees and several part-time employees. And that's expensive. And the cost of our headquarters and so forth and all our programs that we do. So it's a constant battle to, as like every other business, we try to increase our revenue streams and cut our expenses. It never is easy.
Can I ask one more question before we move on?
Sure.
Did I hear you say, I think I did, that the entire library of numismatist magazines are available online? Yes,
they should be. Now that was the goal, and they informed me that we're just about there. So I think I'm pretty accurate in saying that if not all, nearly all are online. So you can research. The way it works, you can just type in the subject you want to research, and you'll see a whole bunch of different articles that come up. It's a pretty good site. I just got back from Colorado yesterday evening, and I've been out there for 4 days working on various programs. Even though I'm not the president, I'm still on the board of governors for another 2 years as a special advisor. And so what I do is of course, I push certain programs that we're still working on. And one of those, of course, is the access to information. In numismatics, as it is in all other fields, knowledge is king. And that's what it's all about. I guess you said, I don't know if I like the word mandate, but really our mission is education. But like I said, and I'm always pushing for putting more money into education and less money in some of the other programs.
Well, thank you so very much, Colonel Ellsworth, for your time. Would you like to say something else before we finish this intervention? And by the way, thank you for being virtual and presential right now in Cartagena. That is a very good thing.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and believe me, I'm so excited about this convention. But Ricardo, my Spanish, I've been working on it, and it's just muy mal. And so I really am dependent upon you to convey the wonderful world of numismatics, which I think we can do with your help.
Thank you so very much. Muchísimas gracias. César, estamos contigo.
Okay, muchas gracias, Ricardo. Steve and Carol, thank you very much for that conference. We are waiting in Cartagena. Bueno, para todos ustedes, esperamos que sigan viendo estas conferencias virtuales a través de las redes sociales durante estos 5 días de evento que tenemos. A todos ustedes, muchas gracias. Muchísimas gracias, Ricardo, por tu colaboración. Y nos vemos en la próxima conferencia. Gracias.